why would anyone want to work with their ancestors or want to be in touch, in connection, in relationship with their ancestors?
It's such a funny question because it you could hear that question in such a way as if you can not be in touch with them, which is impossible. Because here you are, you have a body, you have a soul, you have a mind, you have a way of thinking, you have a way of responding to the world. That's the ancestors, that comes from the ancestors. So we are anyway all the time in connection with them. We're anyway all the time influenced by them. So the question is more like, uh, it's not even a question. I think most of us in the Western world have never thought that we are influenced that strongly by them. And when you start to understand that, it becomes very logical to be involved with them because then you can use what is behind you, not abuse, but use that in a very good way. It's like the stream of life comes from them. And when you know that this is a stream coming from somewhere, going somewhere, it's like you are the surfer on that stream. So, yeah, I wouldn't see a reason not to. Mm.
Um, so I'm wondering if it's possible that you share a personal story of how ancestral work or ritual work, shamanic work, constellation work has changed something for you.
Well, many of us don't know our ancestors because we've never learned to think about the ancestors as a living presence. And in a Western monotheistic culture, Jewish, Christian, um, homosexuality is very taboo. Anything that's feminine is anyway valued as less than masculine. So misogyny and the whole crap is part of like the monotheistic cultures. And then especially if a man isn't completely butch and like straight and alpha, it's like you are immediately suspect. And there's this huge denial of a spectrum of flow between what is considered masculine and feminine. So growing up as a boy that you would call homosexual, I felt deeply troubled about who I was because the culture denied my existence to a certain extent. And so, what an interesting intervention to put up a circle of people around me. Just imagine this, right? The culture tells you and the religion tells you you don't really exist. We can tolerate you at most. You can be gay, but you can't live like a gay man, right? This kind of bullshit. So if I put up, let's say, 30 people around me, and I say, you are my lesbian ancestors, you are my gay ancestors, you are my bisexual ancestors, you are my uncles, my aunts, and you exist, and you existed in every generation. You've always been there, no matter if they gave you a place or not. You are part of where I come from. And I stand in front of you, and I'm part of you. And you will be present in the next generations. That's huge. That's huge. So this is, I work in gay communities, lesbian communities, trans communities, and do these ancestor rituals. It's life changing for people. I get letters after that. Like, I found the courage to change my job. Finally, I don't hate myself anymore. Finally, I know I exist. You know. So the ancestors, we always think we're alone. It's one of the biggest illusions. Many spiritualities and religions say that we are united in something larger. But of course, you have to be this, you can't be this, da 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 da. Okay, good. But what if that's suddenly, for the first time in your life, a reality through ancestor work? That who you are is not a mistake of God, it's just like how human people have always been. And some have always been, and some of them are behind you and around you. You just have to remember that. It changes the ground on which you walk. Mhm.
Thank you. It really touches me. When you said just imagine this, I could really feel it in the whole of my body and the whole of my
Mm.
being. It I have I have goosebumps on my skin.
Now, if you are a shy person, very introvert, and it's very difficult for you to make yourself visible in some way, and people judge you, and all the magazines say an article about how to be more extrovert, how to blah blah blah, and it's this constant denial of who you are at some level, and just like put up like 10 or 15 stones around you and say, every stone, you are one of my shy ancestors, and I stand with you in the circle. It's very, it can be so simple. And the ancestors, we have so many of them, and they're always there because we are here. We are the entry point to that whole field. It's like our prayer whoop, redirects the energy and the door opens. So this is not just about being gay or being shy, but when you start to understand that every human experience is present in the ancestor field, and that there are ancestors who knew this human experience, and that some suffered from it and others got strength from it, that some may have been afraid of it, but others may have been proud of it. It's the complete human experience is there. So then the ancestor field becomes, in a very interesting way, a field of unlimited support. Of course, the ancestors didn't know computers, they didn't know cars, but they did know what it felt like to be left behind. They did know what it felt like to be high one day and proud and like disillusioned the next. The human experience is part of every human. So the ancestor field is when you know how to access it and work with it. It's just a source of unlimited strength and a mirror for our darkest and brightest selves. So shame falls away at some point because there's always somebody out there in the ancestor field who did it like you and much worse, or so no reason to be ashamed. You say, ancestors, imagine this. There's something in your soul you're really ashamed about. And you can tell nobody. You can't even tell yourself about it. And then if you put up like some stones or some representation, then you say, you are the ancestors who carried that shame in their lifetime. But you are the ancestors who know how to transcend that. So you are the ancestors who do not only know the shame that I have in my life at this point, but you have managed in your life to somehow transcend that into a source of strength. Wonderful. I'm sure they have been there. Why would they not be there in the thousands and thousands of people behind us in the ancestor field?